Hello students, welcome back to the session. In this session we will continue our previous topic, half wave rectifier. So this is part 2 of half wave rectifier. In previous session we have seen the theory of half wave rectifier and we have also seen the derivation for the two parameters. We have discussed PIV, that is peak inverse voltage. That is the maximum voltage which can be handled by the device without damaging itself. So PIV is the maximum value of voltage. Second parameter we have seen was about peak current. Peak current is the maximum current, I max. So by using Ohm's law we can write it as I max is equal to V max by RL, that is load resistance. If we have to consider the forward resistance or internal resistance of diode, then we have to add it along with RL. After that we had started discussion about DC or average output current. So let us continue the derivation from average output current. Voltage. What is meaning of peak? Peak means maximum value. How much maximum voltage the rectifier can handle without damaging itself. Right? And in which condition? In reverse bias condition. In reverse bias condition, inverse voltage. In reverse bias condition, how much maximum voltage can be handled by this particular diode. So it is given by PIV, peak inverse voltage. And it is the maximum voltage, supply voltage. Suppose Vs is supply voltage and its max value is given by peak inverse voltage. Similarly, there will be peak current. Another parameter we can define as peak current. So what will be the peak current? Peak current will be the maximum value of current. And these are sinusoidal signals. So how we represent, say, if I want to represent this voltage, supply voltage Vs, mathematically how I will represent? This is a sinusoidal signal. For sinusoidal signal, we'll represent it as Vs is equal to, say, V max or Vm, the maximum value of voltage, sine omega t. Right. So we calculate this time as omega t. So this is voltage current. And what is the peak current? Maximum current which can be handled by the device. So now if you see the output, in output from where to where we are getting current? We are getting current from 0 to pi only. But from pi to 2 pi we are not getting current. So if we write it mathematically, expression for current I will have some maximum value sine omega t. Current and voltages both are sinusoidal signals. This will be the value for limits between 0 to pi. And what will be the current value from pi to 2 pi? This particular place, there is no current. So I will be 0 for this place. 0 current. There is no current on this. Value of current is 0. So here, mathematically, I current will be 0 for between pi to 2 pi, right? Now if this is the expression for current, if we want to relate it with Ohm's law is simply state that I is equal to V by R. So if we write I max, so I max will be V max by R. So R is RL here. If in example, if we ask to consider the internal resistance of diode, then we have to consider RF, say forward resistance of diode, it will get added with this. So this will be the expression. So we'll call it expression 1s, and this will be say expression 2. Now next parameter we will see DC output current. Third parameter, DC output current. Now this is the output, DC output. How much DC component is present in this particular output, that we have to see. DC means how much straight line, but straight line we don't get actual straight line here without filter, but how much is the average out of these available signals, that we have to calculate. For that there is formula. It is also called as average current, average or DC current. It is given by I DC will be equal to 1 upon 2 pi. Total limits will be from, say, for one cycle 0 to 2 pi. Half will be anyhow 0, that we will do ID omega t. Now if we solve this, we will differentiate, I will integrate it in two parts, 0 to pi and then pi to 2 pi. So what we will get, IDC is equal to 1 upon 2 pi. So for half part 0 to pi we have I max sine omega t, plus for 0 to 2 pi the current is 0. So this term anyhow it will get cancelled. So for remaining term, the integration for sine will be minus cos omega t. If we put the limit cos minus cos pi and minus cos 0, so it will be say minus 1 minus 1 minus 1. So it will be 2 here. So here we will get, so this 2 and this 2 will get cancelled. So directly we will get I max divided by pi. So we know value of pi is 0.314. So this one we can also write as 0.314 of I max. That means the DC average is only 0.314 of maximum current. This much average DC value we can get. The fourth parameter we have to see is DC output voltage. Now this was the DC output current. So now let us see, fourth parameter is DC output voltage. Again we will use Ohm's law here for calculating DC output voltage. So we have V is equal to IR. So which V we have to calculate? We have to calculate VDC. And which I DC. And the resistance is RL. If we keep the value of this IDC from previous expression, what we will get? We can simply get like say VDC in terms of, if we write in terms of max value, so it will be V max by pi. So this will be the DC output voltage. The next parameter we have to see is RMS value of current, root mean square value of current. So what is root mean square value of current? It is calculated by, we will take the RMS value of current as square root of 1 upon 2 pi limits of our signal for one cycle 0 to 2 pi, then I square d omega t. We can write it in other way. We will take square of LHS. Say we can write it as I square RMS is equal to, we take square here, another side we will get 1 upon 2 pi 0 limits of integration from 0 to 2 pi, and the remaining term I square d omega t. So again we will keep this value. For I we have I max sine omega t, so it will be I square 1 upon 2 pi. So for first cycle we will take 0 to pi. For 0 to pi we can write I square max sine square omega t d omega t. Now pi to 2 pi term will be anyhow 0. So we will neglect this term. We will solve only this term. So we have sine square omega t d omega t. So if we integrate and put the limits, we will get a value like I square max by 4. So this will be I square RMS value. So what will be I RMS from here? I RMS value will be I max by 2. So we will call it next number of expression, say 4. So this is expression number 4. Similarly we can calculate RMS value of output voltage. So RMS value of voltage, output voltage, we get it as V RMS is equal to V max by 2. So this is RMS value of output voltage. Next parameter we have to see is form factor, and let us see first form factor. What is form factor? Form factor is the ratio of RMS value to average value. RMS value and average value we have already calculated. So what will be the form factor from there? If we keep the value of say RMS divided by DC value, IDC. So if we keep these values, we get pi by 2. That will be equal to 1.57. Now this is the form factor. Similarly we can have the peak factor. Peak factor is defined as the peak value, that is the maximum value divided by RMS value. So peak factor will be given by peak value, say we may have maximum value of current divided by RMS value of current. When we calculate these values, we get it as 2. The next parameter we have to see is say output frequency. Next one we have to see is output frequency. So what is the frequency? Frequency of the number of cycles. Frequency of input and output will not change here. Whatever frequency of input is there, same frequency will be there for the output. So F out will be equal to F in, or F in is equal to F out. So output frequency will not change because we are using the same frequency for the input and same output. Whenever we are getting output for the half time or full time, we are getting it full. There is no reduction in the frequency. Next parameter is rectifier efficiency. What is meaning of efficiency? Efficiency means how much efficiently that particular system is working. If it is working efficiently or not. We want maximum efficiency. So efficiency is given by eta. And how we calculate efficiency? How much profit we are getting out of the system. So if we calculate what is our output? Output is DC. So we should get more DC against the AC. Our input is AC. We want maximum DC as output. So in terms of power, if we consider, so what is our DC power output over what is our AC power input? That will tell us the efficiency. And what is power? For power we have a simple formula. So if we want to calculate PDC, so PDC will be calculated as I square L. So this is PDC, so I square will be DC. I square DC into, say this is load resistance RL. Right. So in other terms we can write it as IDC and RMS relation we have. So we can write it as Imax by pi whole square into RL. So this is PDC. So PAC, similarly we can have PAC, that is input. At input there are other parameters also included. First thing we have to consider the power dissipated in diode junction. How much power is consumed at the junction and how much power is dissipated in load resistance. So we have to consider the load inside diode. How much is the power consumed inside diode? Inside diode internal resistance we are considering as RF. So this PAC will be equal to, it is given by I square RMS into RF plus I square RMS into RL, that is the load resistance. Right, so power consumed inside diode and power consumed at the load is given by this particular value. So if we keep the IRMS values and solve this, we get I square RMS by 4 and addition of these two resistors RF plus RL. So say this is expression 1 here, this one is 2 and this one is 3. Now keeping 3 and 2 in 1, so these two expressions we will keep in 1. So we will get eta, that is efficiency, equal to PDC by PAC equal to I square max RL by pi square whole divided by Imax square RF plus RL, which will be equal to, so if we solve this value we get 4 upon pi square RL by RF plus RL. Again if we simplify it we get 0.406 by 1 plus RF by RL. This RF, which is inside diode, is normally neglected. This value will be neglected because this value is too small than the actual load resistance. So hence what we will get here, if we neglect it, eta, then it will be equal to around this value. Eta will be equal to around 0.406. What will be the percentage of this? The percentage, if we calculate, it will be 40.6. That means this diode is used at 40% efficiency. That means only 40%, 40.6% of this particular diode is being used, and remaining part we are not able to use. So that is halfway we are getting. Halfway means 50. Along with 50 we have other losses, and after considering all those losses in the diode, the efficiency calculated of this particular system is 40.6%. Right. So this is about the efficiency. One more factor we have to see. It is called as ripple factor. Sometime in examination we get they ask the derivation and expressions for this. So next parameter we have to see is, say, ripple factor. So this ripple factor is given by, say, gamma. This gamma, ripple means how many ripples are there, how much AC component is present in our DC output. This is unwanted signal. We want output as DC. If AC is present, that is unwanted signal. So how much AC is present in that is given by this ripple factor. It is IAC by IDC. This value is 1.21. We get ripple factor as 1.21. Similarly, we can have one more parameter. It is related to transformer. We are using transformer, step down transformer. So how much transformer is getting utilized, that is also sometime important parameter. So transformer utilization factor means how much percentage of transformer is being used. So this is TUF. This particular factor is calculated by, say, PDC by PAC, and its value comes to 0.286.
Let us now see the animation based explanation for the half wave rectifier. For that, let us recall what we had discussed about diode. Diode can be operated in two biasing conditions, that is forward bias and reverse bias. In forward bias, we get some voltage applied from battery. If we increase the voltage up to 0.7, we do not get any conduction in the diode because there is already inbuilt 0.7 volt barrier potential in silicon diode. To make it conduct, first we have to break this wall of 0.7 volt. Once we exceed the voltage beyond 0.7, then we get conduction. This is about DC source. If the source is DC, then diode will be continuously on. In our case, we are talking about conversion from AC to DC current. So the input current is not DC in our case. The input current what we are getting from the source is AC. AC current having both the sides of current. One cycle will be positive, another cycle will be negative. In forward bias, diode conducts. In reverse bias, diode do not conduct. Right. So now in this case we can see this symbol represents the AC signal. For AC signal we have one positive and one negative cycle. So if we connect the device with the signal for first positive half cycle, what will happen? We will have some input like this. You can see input for voltage and current both are same as we have discussed. Here current is lagging behind the voltage and horizontal axis is for time. This angle theta is given by omega t. First cycle is from 0 to pi. For 0 to pi, what happens is this left side p type becomes positive and the right side becomes negative, making this diode in forward bias condition. So when it is in forward bias condition, diode conducts. So same input whatever is available at the input side will appear at the output. Half waveform we get because of this first cycle. Then next, when second cycle starts, which is negative, when negative cycle starts, then the p type becomes negative and n side becomes positive. Polarity changes here. Due to this change in polarity, we don't get any output, we get blank signal like this. Again, when next cycle comes, again we get the output for the next cycle. Let us see here. There is also one diagram. Left side we have the input signal we are giving to transformer. Transformer is connected to diode, and diode output is like this: one cycle, then break, then again next cycle. Now here we can see that this waveform, what we are calling it as output waveform, it is nowhere DC. What is the impression of DC in our mind? It should be a straight line which is not changing, direct current. That's what makes it different from the alternating current. But you can see here alternating values are there. So what we have to do? We have to make it more DC. So if my output is not DC and if AC components are there, that means there is requirement of filtering. What is filter? At home we use filters. Filters are used to purify anything, right? So here also we use filters to purify our output. What is the impurity in our output? If I want DC as output and if AC component, that is changing component, is present in my output, that means that is my impurity and I have to remove it. For that we use a capacitor. By using capacitor we get improved output like this. Let us see how it happens. Here we can see left side, these are various types of capacitors. While handling capacitors, you will come across the various types of capacitors. What is the function of capacitor? Capacitor is used to store the energy. He charges himself, and whenever we require, we can use that particular stored charge to discharge across the load. And what is the load? Load may be the gadget or equipment where we want that current to flow. Now we can see in the right side diagram, the first part is same, that is the transformer. From transformer is connected to main supply will have higher value of AC. Step down transformer will reduce that particular value which can be handled by the device to smaller value, but still it will be DC. At the output of diode, we have seen we get the half waves. If there is single diode, that means the outputs are the half waves. Here we can see the dotted half waves. After that, across load, we connect one capacitor in the parallel. So what capacitor do? He take the AC and he charge himself, and remaining DC he sends to output. Let us take it in another way. After diode, we get half waves at this particular point. There is a resistor, then it reaches to this particular second point. At this junction, one way is going to capacitor and another way is going to output. So what capacitor will do? Let us see again why capacitor is connected in parallel. It is connected in parallel because it allows only AC current and he does not allow the DC current. At output what we want? At output we want DC. So when current reaches this junction, here the junction current having both the components AC as well as DC, because those are half waves. So at this junction there are two paths for the current to go. One is towards capacitor and another one is towards output. But capacitor will not allow DC. So the only remaining path for the DC will be to go towards output. And what will happen with this AC signal? He will charge himself. So at this point, capacitor will start charging himself. He will charge up to the maximum value of the input voltage. Here this is the input voltage V max. One more thing we have to understand here, that at input voltage, maximum voltage, if it is say 10 volt, then at the output of diode we will not get exact 10 volt. The barrier potential will be subtracted from that. For barrier potential concept, you can go back to semiconductor part 2 video and check it. So barrier potential for silicon diode, it's 0.7. That means first we have to use this 0.7 voltage to overcome the diode's barrier potential, and then the voltage can create the current. So at the output we will have less amount of voltage compared to Vmax. Okay, so he will charge, capacitor will charge to the maximum value, and after once he reach the maximum value, he will start discharging himself. From where he will discharge? He will discharge across the output, and as he start discharging, he will not go to zero. As soon as he discharge for some time, you can see this straight line which is going. Actually here we were supposed to get the blank line, but due to discharging of capacitor we are getting something closer to the DC. And after some time again next positive cycle starts. So again before going to zero, capacitor again start charging. Again it will charge to the maximum value, and then again he will start discharging in the negative cycle. As soon as he reach to the positive part, again he will charge. So like this we get a better DC. It is more better than the half wave. So in this way we can get the filtered output. Now let us see the application of half wave. Actually half wave rectifier is having very less efficiency, as we have seen in the derivation before some time. It is 40.6% only. That means we are able to utilize it only up to 40.6. That's why we prefer full wave rectifier, that we will see in the next session. But still half wave rectifier have its own benefit and its application. One of such application is in 2-level lamp dimmer. 2-level lamp dimmer means we can choose the intensity of the lamp. Either we want it more bright or less bright. Let us see how it happens. When we have AC voltage signal, it is connected with a switch, and that switch can be connected to a bulb across by using a diode or directly. If we close this switch directly, the direct AC current will go to the bulb and he will glow very brightly because he will get the full voltage. But if we want dim light in the night, so what we will do, we will close this switch and it will go across the diode. So what is function of diode? He will be on only for positive cycle and he will be off for negative cycle. So once it is in positive cycle, this bulb glows, and in remaining half cycle bulb should go off, but he will not go directly off because inside bulbs there will be filament, and when filament gets heated, they releases the photons and we get the light. So in positive half cycle the bulb filament gets hot and we get some light. But when diode goes in the negative cycle, then it will, before it goes to off condition, before the filament becomes cool, again the next cycle comes back and the bulb again glows. So it will not on and off, it will be in the middle. So it will become dim. It will not be completely off or it will not be completely on. So this is one interesting application. By using diode you can try and make it. So this is about the half wave rectifier. In next session we will see full wave rectifier. Till then, have a good day.